Good evening. I'm here tonight for a few reasons. First, I want to wish everyone a Happy New Year. 2020 was tough on all of us, and I understand it was tougher on some than others. As the new year rings in, it brings with it the hope for better times to come. I personally believe that even though the new year has not gotten off to a great start, if we work together and recommit to one another, we will make 2021 a banner year. Today we celebrate the life and accomplishments of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King stood for and taught us about tolerance for others and the need to discuss our differences. As he stated, we must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. There is some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we are less prone to hate our enemies. I hope that we can take some time to reflect upon the life and words of Dr. King and apply them to what we see happening in our community today. You have heard me say that incivility and lack of respect for one another is creeping into our community. The reasons for this are varied, and while the stress and isolation brought on by the COVID pandemic have aggravated this problem, clearly the political environment is center stage. The current state of our country is very reminiscent to me of the turmoil of the 1960s. Many of us lived through that parallel era. The civil rights movement was making slow but steady progress against the backdrop of the Vietnam War, the first war ever to be brought to our living room television sets in real time. Everywhere you turned, there were protests and riots. Civil rights marchers being bludgeoned, government selective service buildings stormed and burned, the Hong Kong flu pandemic surging, and tragically, the assassination of three of our nation's greatest leaders who were trying to guide us to a better place. I remember distinctly where I was when President Kennedy was shot. I remember distinctly where I was when Dr. King was shot. I remember distinctly where I was when Robert Kennedy was shot. Three of our nation's most prominent leaders assassinated within a 5-year span. It was an extremely difficult time for our country. Wounds were deep, but we healed. We came through this period by working together, listening to each other, and trying to understand others' perspectives. There was hope for a better future, and we worked hard to achieve that. Did we become a perfect nation? No, but we became a better one. Today we are finding ourselves more polarized than I have ever witnessed in my lifetime. Politics has become all-consuming. There is no room for honest disagreement. Civility toward those who disagree is gone. Disagreement seemingly makes us lifetime enemies. What saddens me most is watching families torn apart because of members' unwillingness to respect a different point of view. Lifelong friends shun and disassociate from each other because of differing political beliefs. This is not right. This is not Hudson. Philosopher, poet, and composer Wilhelm Nietzsche described the root of this problem when he said, "The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently." That's worthy of repeating. The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently. Over the past few months, you may have heard me discuss the Golden Rule Initiative. It is an initiative to make everyone aware of the importance of the Golden Rule and to try to bring it into everyday lives. The Golden Rule states, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." In other words, treat people the way you would like them to treat you. Treat people with respect. To advance this initiative, I am hereby proclaiming 2021 the year of the Golden Rule. When I was a first grader, we would say the Pledge of Allegiance daily and then recite the Golden Rule. We were reminded of the Golden Rule every day. I'm asking that everyone try to practice the Golden Rule every day. Put it on your computer. Discuss it with your family. Discuss it with your friends. Discuss it with your classmates. And when you think about the Golden Rule, consider this. Michael Josephson, who founded the Joseph and Edna Josephson School of Ethics, and who is a commentator on ethical issues, asserts that the core of the Golden Rule is a moral obligation to treat others ethically for their sake, not ours. even if it is better than the way they treat us. Think about that for a moment. The golden rule is about how we treat others, not how they treat us. If you think you are practicing the golden rule by calling out others' behavior, you're not. The whole point of the golden rule is to treat others better, regardless of how they treat us. This year, let's bring civility back into our conversations and interactions with each other. Let's all make a conscious effort to listen to those with whom we disagree, and I mean really listen. Dr. King once said, "People fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other." Over the next few months, I will be rolling out specific initiatives to bring the golden rule into our everyday consciousness. In 2021, talk to each other, listen to each other, try to understand each other, respect each other. If we do this, each of us will be a better person. I've always believed the whole of the Hudson community is greater than the sum of its parts. Let me leave you with one more quote from Dr. Martin Luther King on this, his day. "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. We must learn to live as brothers." Happy New Year to each and every one of you. May 2021 bless you with health, surround you with family, friends, and those you love, and reward you for your good deeds and the happiness you bring to others.